Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to World Team League 2023 Summer Code S Round 5, Day number 3, our second matchup of the night. I'm your host, Live VIP, and Asher has bid us adieu. You know, he does have to wake up early tomorrow, and he also isn't totally going to stay up late and watch some StarCraft, but Asher is going to be tagging out, and Kuro is going to be tagging in.
Hello there. It is I, the duck.
The casting jersey herself. And yes, Kura has joined us here for our second series of the night. It is going to be Team Liquid versus Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, and I'm curious how this one is gonna go, because actually for this specific match we have a lot of like close matchups, I feel like.
Oh yeah. Team Liquid and Shopify, they are two of the higher tier, higher caliber teams on or in World Team League. And this is going to be much closer. In the last series, Basilisk were the clear favorites, but in this one, it's a lot harder to call. It is quite possible here for a lot of 1-1s, for a lot of tied up series, or even upsets as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we'll see if we can get one in this game, as we already loaded in, and we're looking at Liquid Skill, my favorite player name. It's there at Protoss.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN.
I think Liquid Skill is by far the best player name, team name combination. There are very few that can compete.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not as if I don't think that was intentional. It's just because they don't have a clan tag on NA, so they all type Liquid in front of their name, and I think you ran out of characters.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. This was all planned. They're just, they're branding their new drink. It's gonna be called Liquid Skill, and yeah, you just drink it before the match, and your APM goes up.
I wish that were true. I wish that were true. As we do have some lovely cameras being shown as well, and we have a SKillous going to be a little bit cheeky here with a proxy pylon out on the map, and I love this. This is so prepared because ByuN is. I'm curious if he's going to go for an SCV scout or not. If he's going to go for a rack scout, because if he doesn't, he's in the dark.
Yeah, for the time he will be, as we do have this proxy gateway here. The probe is gonna check out the base of ByuN, nothing unusual. There is... Ooh, the Marine got cancelled when ByuN saw the probe.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that ByuN does quite often in this matchup. He skips the SCV scout and he skips the Reaper scout as well. So again, he's more focused on his own build. He's got a CC on the low ground, and SKillous can punish this a little bit here, as he's going to be chronoing out his Zealot from across the map, and he's going to be making his Stalker or Adept on the front lines. This is designed to force a delay on the CC, maybe even a cancel if things get a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, we'll see what SKillous can do with this. So far, he's making that Stalker. There's also an Adept coming up soon TM, and a Zealot on the way. And we'll see if that will be enough to get some damage done.
Yeah, we shall see. Of course, ByuN has incredible micro, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to minimize his losses once that does come across the map. But we do have that chrono on the way, and right now ByuN is none the wiser. He's got one Marine to his name, and he's going into the reactor after that. So I believe he only has one Marine to defend.
I think so. There is a Hellion on the way, but that's pretty much it. And this CC is now in danger. The SCV will be killed, and ByuN actually pulling workers.
Yeah, you got to pull the boys here. That CC is so close to finishing up, and it looks like it should be able to finish in time, but we are losing a lot of SCVs.
Yeah, 2 so far is not terrible, but it's still pretty bad this early in the game. And one Marine gets out. This wall is not being repaired, so eventually SKillous will be able to break through it, but slowly ByuN is getting some units.
Yeah, and again, what's important is that ByuN was able to finish the CC. Like, if he hadn't pulled the boys when he did, then the CC wouldn't be done right now. It'd be under threat to being cancelled even. So great job here by ByuN. The Widowmine does come out, and it looks like it... Oh, we'll get a shot. Oh, we'll borrow in time.
Yeah, just barely. SKillous was not able to snipe this Widowmine. If it gets repaired by an SCV, now he baits it with a shade, and the Stalkers can move in.
Yeah, the Stalkers do move in. Despite the repair, the Widowmine is going to be going down. Great control from SKillous, but now we have a high enough Marine count to chase this away. And nice body blocking as well. Going to be able to just barely get a Stalker.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, who is this better for? Like, SKillous did deny the natural for the time being, but I mean, the CC has been made, and ByuN is working on his units. He's even preparing for a drop. So, was this worth it?
I mean, so far he's containing ByuN to one base, so far, yes. He also killed the Widowmine as well, so it means that this drop is that much weaker. Oh my god, SKillous does come across the drop in the middle of the map, but did he notice? Because right now he's focusing on his frontal assault.
I mean, I'm not sure if he wants to react to it right now. He may be able to recall the Stalkers later, but for the time being, he's focusing on the other side of the map and just warping in some defensive units.
Oh, boys have to be pulled. He's going to be able to focus on the medevac at least, but probes are falling left and right. At the same time, though, across the map, once again, ByuN cannot take control of his natural.
Yeah, the CC is once again denied, and ByuN is forced to stay in his main base. The wall is not a wall, so the Adept is free to shade in and check the situation, but now there is a tank.
Yeah, with that tank, ByuN should be pretty safe here on one base, but I love this from SKillous. He's actually not going for a blink after this. He's going for a charge. He's going to be going for a big two-base push. Gateways are on the way, and eventually ByuN is going to retake control of his natural, but when he does, SKillous is going to have an army of chargeless to try to stop him.
Yeah, and I mean, the natural, because ByuN was not able to set up in the natural, it will be pretty open as well. There will be no static, any sort of static defenses there other than that single tank for the time being. So it may work out for SKillous very well, but we'll see how that goes because now there's a Banshee on the way.
Yeah, so I knew I was going to be committed, but this is all in. We have 6 more gates behind this from SKillous. He has no additional gases either. The Banshee will rock up, but the Stalkers get here just in time, and the Banshee doesn't have cloak, so it will be forced back. But if it does get a full scout in the main base, that'll be very important. But no, he is going to be denied. He's kept here in between the main and the natural.
Yes, indeed, and there are Stalkers waiting for that Banshee to come out. So it will have to be hidden for the time being. There is a second one coming up, and that cloak is actually on the way, so it will be there eventually. And it looks like ByuN even saw that proxy location.
Yeah, he finds the proxy, but that doesn't matter as much because we have the Prism. We're going to be warping in a massive wave of Zealots across the map. SKillous is committed to his all-in. He may lose workers to the Banshee, but, I mean, his goal here is to break the defenses of ByuN and just overwhelm from there.
I wonder if this was a bit early of a reveal of the charge, as he just marched a single Zealot into ByuN's base, but either way, he's now committed to the attack.
Yeah, and here we go. The wall is a wall. That tank in the backline is doing a lot of damage so far. We are forced to throw down an auto turret as well, but at the same time, SKillous, he gets up with the tank on the high ground.
Yeah, these few Zealots will be able to snipe that tank. There are 2 tanks on the low ground though, and the units of SKillous are getting shot down.
Yeah, and I don't know about this. I do feel like the Zealots coming in one after another. They do trickle in, and in the end, ByuN is going to be able to clean this up. At the same time, those Banshees are doing a lot of damage across the map.
Yeah, and because SKillous was committed to the offense, he doesn't have that many units back at home to deal with those Banshees. He has to warp in more here.
And look at the Sim City as well with that bunker. These Zealots, they just cannot get on top of the tank. Finally, it looks like they will, but by the time they do, the Zealots are being cleaned up. ByuN has defended. ByuN is miles ahead economically.
Yeah, and at the same time, SKillous lost 15 probes already. There's more falling as well. And with 9 probes to his name, I mean, this will be difficult.
Yeah, I love the overall game plan, but you can see him there. SKillous, he exhales, he shakes his head as well. I think he realizes the position that he's in right now. Like, he was already all in before, but and he had such a great start to this game as well, but the defensive position from ByuN was insane. The SimCity in the main base, the positioning of the tanks, as you were saying, the wall that he was able to get up with the natural, it all came into play, and now ByuN, he's fine.
SKillous shaking his head. He knows that he could have played this better, but a few mistakes here and there, it didn't quite work out for him, and that, as you said, that SimCity as well was quite against him, and it's not looking great.
Yeah, he goes for another last-ditch effort here. He goes for another massive warp in into the main base. He's going to try and go for that mineral line, and a couple of SCVs are going to be going down here. There are a lot of Zealots, to be fair, but he can't really engage with the main army.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck in that main base of ByuN, and he can't even take these Zealots back home, so yeah, they all will be going down without much damage done, other than some, wasted mineral mining time.
Yeah, he tries to go for a Zealot counterattack at the natural as well as he distracts ByuN. He rushes on forward, but every single Zealot goes down. GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG, and that wasn't the easiest game for ByuN. He was hurting quite a bit in the beginning. I loved the idea for SKillous, the 1-2 punch, disrupting the opener and going for a 2-base charge all in. But alas, he did reveal his hand a little bit early there, and ByuN was able to react. Didn't have a lot of time to react, but he was able to react in time.
Yeah, he was able to set up some nice SimCity there, and he was, I mean, I feel like the most important part is he was on top of, like, you know, keeping track of where SKillous was. So every time there was a warp in, every time there was an attack, like, ByuN was right there ready to receive him.
Yeah, he really was, and as a result, ByuN, he fights back, he comes back, and he takes that first game, and now SKillous, it is going to be his map of choice. How is he going to be able to come back here? I mean, I guess the one good thing about this is that game one was very quirky, it was very aggressive, and I don't think it was very telling of SKillous's usual play style, so he didn't really reveal too much.
Well, possibly. We will see what the game two will turn out to be. I'm still wondering, like if those little things matter, like the fact that ByuN so charged like way before the attack happened. Like was that like an important point as well? Like maybe things could have like unveiled differently.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were saying. That's what we were saying, how he was able to react in time and get his wall up and running at the natural and set up his SimCity as well. So yeah, that's where maybe SKillous slipped up a little bit. And well, now we're going to be getting into game number 2. SKillous' map of choice is going to be Neo-Humanity.
Yep. I have nothing to say about Neo-Humanity. Oh, but there are the minerals, right?
Uh-huh. There are.
Do you think one of them is gonna mine out the minerals?
We'll see. I mean, we have seen that being used recently. If you remember, yesterday, Silky did that. Silky, he went for a Ling Flood, and he snuck in behind his opponent. It was behind Hero, if I'm not mistaken, in SSLT versus CranKy Z Gaming. Oh, sorry, Creator. Yeah, that's it. Against Abydos. And yeah, he was able to get a cheeky win against Creator. So there are little things that you can do like that. In this matchup, we'll see.
We'll see indeed, as we are already looking at our red Protoss player. It's SKillous.
Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo-Humanity for Shopify Rebellion, it is ByuN. You know what it is? SKillous, he hasn't assumed the position.
Oh, yeah. The knee, right?
I mean, if that's what you want to call it. That's.
I mean, look. That's what it is on the stream, okay?
Yeah, the knee is down right now, and with that means, you know, he doesn't have his secret weapon, if you will. So I do worry a little bit. You know, he may be feeling a little bit uncomfortable as well. Maybe not taking his degen position that he likes to.
Not playing full degen clearly, like, you know, affects your skill.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's kind of like how, you know how Flash, he would always bring out his ruler and make sure that everything was set up perfectly for his setup. You know, same thing with SKillous, right? Like, what is his perfect setup? Well, it's his leg being up. You know, it's.
I mean, I can understand. Like, I understand. Like, I sit like that a lot. So
yeah.
Hey.
Is it ergonomic? No, but it's comfortable, you know, and that's all that matters here when you're in the zone, when you're playing a game.
Exactly. But for the time being, he will not be relying on that, and we're just gonna be going into a bit of a standard game instead.
We are, and now ByuN is a little bit shaken. He's going to be scouting around this time with his Marine. If you remember, he was avoiding this last game. Oh my god, as he is going to be going for a very fast concussive shell.
Is it just me? But somehow I'm not surprised that ByuN would be one to do that. I feel like ByuN has done this before a few times.
Yeah, so this is a build that is designed to catch your opponent being a little bit over-aggressive with their initial Stalkers, because when the Stalkers do show up, they're going to run into Marauders with Concussive Shell, and that means that they can't escape. You know, that means that you get free kills as well, with your Protoss opponents being overly aggressive. But the first Marauder is going to reveal itself here, so the jig is up, and now SKillous is aware.
Yeah, SKillous is aware. He once again went for that proxy gateway, and ByuN just barely didn't scout it, but now that he sees the Marauders, he may change the plan. He's actually railing back home.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a different gateway setup here from SKillous. It is designed to reinforce so we can be a lot more aggressive later on in the game. But as you're saying, because of the revelation of these Marauders, SKillous may have to change his plans. He does have to respect that, as at least a Stalker army is going to have a hard time breaking through.
Yes, it is. So this is a very interesting wall from ByuN, just leaving that add-on there and just using all the buildings separately anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be making use of that later on. We do see SKillous throwing down a Twilight Council, is going to be, I imagine, going into Blink initially, and he's still going to be warping in aggressively. He still wants to at least assert himself here, just gain that map control.
Yeah, and he will be moving into the other side of the map right now. ByuN actually cancels the bunker, just evacuates the natural completely, and takes this very seriously.
Yeah, exactly. ByuN doesn't have too many units. He was focusing on all of his add-ons. As you saw earlier, Mindshot will go off on one of those Stalkers, and we can see here, without Blink, as long as one of these Marauders hits a Stalker, that Stalker basically dies.
Yeah, there's no escape for these Stalkers, so they have to be very careful about how they engage. They did take down 3 SCVs, which is nice, but they shouldn't be able to get too much damage done here.
Yeah, they do force a lift up on this. CC is taking a lot of damage right now, as you do see a medevac gonna be boosting out here, maybe trying to fake out his opponent a little bit, maybe try to force a reaction out on the map, as there is nothing in it.
I like how both players just shook their heads, like they just, like both of them like, well, I messed up. Like neither of them thinks that they won this situation.
Yeah, as the medevac does, I believe, come across that proxy location, forces a recall as well, just threatening that Widowmine drop. You love to see it. And as the recall does go out, ByuN can regain control of his natural. That was amazing. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it actually did work, and in the end, SKillous has to move back, and now ByuN is actually going on the offensive.
Yeah, I mean, SKillous, he recalls to defend against a mind drop that is not coming. ByuN regains control of his natural base. He's going to be able to shut down this proxy location as well. Yeah, just some great mind games coming into play.
Yeah, really nice there from ByuN, and we'll see what he can do from here. SKillous had the time to take his third Nexus in the meantime. ByuN has his natural, and now there's an actual real drop coming.
Yeah, the drop is on the way. ByuN has to be careful as he does push through the middle of the map. He's actually going to be rallying out with a tank as well. So ByuN wants to try to force a cancel on this third base. I mean, ByuN has an abnormal amount of Marauders right now just because of this game state. And as a result, his army is quite threatening. We still don't have Blink. Yeah,
and there's a tank in this army as well. The Widowmines are now... Ooh, 12 probes are falling down. At the same time, the main army is attacking at the third. And SKillous is blinking pretty nice, but still, those Stalkers are pretty damaged.
They are very damaged, and almost every Stalker is going to be going down here. The tank barely survives. 19 probes go down, and we can see ByuN hunting down those last remaining Stalkers.
Yeah, he's just going straight forward for them. And the probes are dead, the Stalkers are dead. SKillous leaves the game.
GG, well played. ByuN will take a very quick 2-0 here, as we saw SKillous mainly kind of dictating the pace of the game, being very aggressive overall in both Game 1 and Game 2. But ByuN, with some cheeky moves here in the second game, able to just turn the tables suddenly on SKillous.
Yeah, it looked like SKillous like did decent damage, but I never say he was tricked by the drop and then, you know, like kind of left the ground like for ByuN, but he did like move back when he was in not too bad of a position.
Yeah, like a lot came into play. So because of the proxy gateway from SKillous, his tech was delayed, his Twilight Council was delayed, and because eventually he was forced back and his proxy gateway was shut down, ByuN suddenly had a lot of momentum going his way, and there was like a window, there was a timing where he could actually get so much damage done with his Marauders, and we saw that like in the middle of the fight. Blink did finish, but by that time, like, his Stalkers were so weakened as well because of the Marauders, because of the tanks. It was just kind of a great way of ByuN to take advantage of the situation that had suddenly unfolded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And he did take the series too. Oh.
Yeah. GG. Very well done there by ByuN. A solid start here for Shopify Rebellion, but we'll see what happens here in our second game. Coming up next, we have Clem versus Lambo, and this is going to be a little bit of a precursor to our ESL Masters series later on in the night. In ESL Masters EU, Clem is going to be facing Cyril in a couple of hours.
Yes, it did. Actually, somebody raised a good point. When exactly is Clem playing? Because it may be fairly soon.
I believe he plays in 3 hours. 3
Nice.
hours. Yeah. So because of that, I'm sure he's going to be keeping some builds hidden for the semifinals, but I don't really think that's going to affect any kind of like standard play. Like I like if we end up in a macro game scenario, like Clem will just be showing everything that he usually does, I imagine, against Lambo. So yeah, I don't imagine Clem's going to be doing anything too crazy in this best of 2.
Yeah, probably going for something a bit standard, but we'll see how that goes. As it is, he is 10 in micro. That's his highest stat.
Yeah. He's got that 10 in micro. I mean, a well-deserved 10 at that. Clem is the best Terran. I think we can all get behind those 2 players specifically being S tier. When it comes to some of the others, though, I do think maybe Lambo should maybe be an A. It's hard to say with Lambo. Like, he's not as consistent as some of these other players. But he can always punch up, and he can always have a really good showing here. He's going to be going up against Clem next, and here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressfarn. For Team Liquid, it is Clem.
And in the bottom right of the map, we have our red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It's Lambo.
Here we go, and Lambo has been popping off recently, especially this week. I don't know if you remember this, Kuro, but we were casting the Kung Fu Cup, and Lambo, he 2-0'd Maru in Kung Fu Cup number 4.
Yeah,
it's
he
crazy.
Did. I don't know if anybody got to cast that, but that's yeah, it's one of these results where you're like, wait, what happened? Like nobody expected that result, and it was just off stream.
Yeah, I think everyone was just looked at that. Like, the problem with Kung Fu Cups is that there are so many good matches going on at once. And I think most casters, like ourselves, Wardy, Steadfast, Rotterdam, I think we all just assumed that that Maru would 2-0, or Maru would take the series, and we were kind of looking at other more juicier matches. But yeah, Lambo took down Maru 2-0. We don't really know how he did it, but it just goes to show that he has it in himself to go toe-to-toe with the best Terrans in the world.
He definitely does. I mean, you were saying about how Lambo feels like a bit less consistent of a player, and I would agree. Like, Lambo is one of these few players who are like more like the brain of the Zerg, but like don't always have like the results to show for it, you know? Like they understand a lot behind of the game, but they don't always like get good results in the tournaments themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see how that kind of comes into form in WTL as well. Both Asher and I have talked about it, but I feel like Lambo thrives best in these long league formats instead of the weeklies. He has given time to prepare. He has a week to prepare for Clem. On top of that, Lambo, he doesn't have to worry about his ESL Masters match, for example, because he's not in it. So he can focus a lot of his attention on WTL instead. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what Lambo has in store for us, as a pretty interesting choice here. Lambo actually kind of like very Dark-esque, makes 6 links here to defend the first Reaper.
Yeah, interesting indeed. And this Reaper will be defended, will be deflected for the time being, but still Lambo has to be careful because he may still lose that tumor.
Yeah. I mean, again, it just goes to show that Lambo respects the control here of Clem. He respects his ability to micro this Reaper, so that's why he, in a way, overmade or made an additional set of lings just to make sure things didn't get out of hand.
And this is where, like, he actually accidentally clicked another set, and we just, over-analyzing it.
I don't think that he would do that. I don't think so.
Though.
As we do have the lings that are racing across the map as the Reaper is busy in the natural of Lambo. Lambo is across the map looking to try and get some counter damage with these SCVs.
And he actually may, as there are a few SCVs completely defenseless here, but aliens show up just in time and none of them will be falling down.
Oh, exactly. The Hellions come out. We do have a little bit of lost mine time, but only lost mine time as Lambo is forced back for the time being. Is making an extra set of lings as well, just to make sure he's safe and sound from any kind of a Hellion dive. Meanwhile, Clem is going for a 3cc starport opener.
Okay. For the time being, the Hellions will be trying to harass on the other side of the map. There is that third base, but I don't think there are any drones on it yet, so they don't find any damage, and there are queens prepared as well. And Clem is going with Banshees.
Yeah, it is going to be 3cc Banshee. Very economic here from Clem, as it was that third CC before Starport, of course. With that, his economy is going to be booming. Very standard macro play. And we'll see what this leads into. Something that we didn't mention, but when it comes to the standard play from Clem, he is more than willing to mix mech into series as well.
Oh.
We saw that a couple of days ago. We saw that even last week in WTL. So yeah, we'll see what he does, as thankfully, he doesn't throw down additional factories.
Yeah, we do see these barracks coming up, and there are still more Hellions though. There will be quite a few of them, so he will be trying to dive in, probably together with the Banshees to, you know, pull the attention of Lambo a little bit, but for the time being, these queens are enough to stop him.
Yeah, so far, Lambo has been able to keep up with the rotations, is able to keep his creep spread maintained for the most part, and we do see Lambo going for a pretty well-timed lair as well. We should be seeing the Bailey Nest soon, so Lambo is going to be going for a much more cautious lair into Bailings, into Bailing speed, is going to be delaying his 1-1 upgrades as a result, but it's just a more safe way to play.
Indeed, but it is time for the Banshee, but it is spotted by Lambo and it will be chased off together with the Hellions actually, so no damage from Clem down there and he just has to prepare a better army.
Yeah, again, Clem's just doing a great job at just poking and prodding, looking for an opener whenever he can. And interesting choice here. So Lambo takes all 6 of his gases. He does, of course, delay his 1-1, but we see there is more to it. He throws down a Spire.
Yeah, so there will be a Spire coming up. The Hellions are still trying to dive in, but the Queens are always there to defend. And we'll see what Lambo can do with that Spire.
Yeah, exactly. So far, it has gone unscattered. So far, Clem has seen a couple of these gas geysers, but no major tells from Lambo yet, as the Hellions are trying to go toe-to-toe with the Queens, but no, they don't find a way in. A gas geyser will go down, and that will eat into the overall muta production.
That it will, but as you said, the Spire was still not scouted. The Banshees didn't go any farther than the third base, but now the Hellions are coming in at the same time.
Oh, the Queens are pulled out of position. The Hellions dive into the mineral line, and so many drones are going to be going down. 12 workers, and they even get a good position behind the minerals as well, trading as best they can against these lings.
Yeah, the Banshees try to dive in once again for a few more kills, but they are being chased off. But still, 12 drones is a great result for Clem.
Yeah, a great trade here for Clem. Again, Hellions, they run out of usefulness as the game goes on. They kind of run out of value and efficiency, so a great way to kind of spend them. And now we're getting into mutas, but again, we're not going to be able to make as many as we would have liked just because we've lost so many workers and we lost that gas geyser earlier.
Yeah, and now the Marines are on the way. They are killing the Overlords as well, which supply blocks Lambo for a moment. But yeah, does he have the Banelings ready? No, they're only just being morphed.
Yeah, exactly. Clem just doesn't let him breathe. He's pushing on forward. A mine is going to be able to borrow here, and we have a quick unborrow to deny that friendly fire.
Yeah, but the mine eventually gets taken down, and there is still no base speed. It's about to be ready, but it's not quite there yet. The Marines are doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, and here we go. Bathing speed is now done. This will force a hot pickup. Do see a mine is going to be going off, and it will connect with the Queen. So thankfully not on the Ling Bane. Lambo still struggling to muster up a defense here as Clem is reinforcing.
Yeah, and the Queens are badly damaged, and there's no more energy for transfuses, so every attack, a few of them are falling down. The Banshees are sniping the Banelings as well.
Yeah, the control of Clem to focus down at those Banelings who do have a mine shot's going to be going off as well, but that's it. That's all the Ling Bane.
Yeah, there's a single muta, sorry, 3 mutas now, and they're not enough. Clem takes game number 1.
GG, well played. Things escalating very quickly there. Towards the end, the mine shots were perfect, exactly what Clem needed. And unfortunately for Lambo was investing into those mutas, which was eating into a lot of his gas as well. Clem was looking to catch him with his pants down, catch him with just not enough on the ground.
I mean, he kind of did. Like, he barely had the link, but like the bailing speed was still like ways away, and once this Mutas popped up, like, there was nothing for them to do. There were so many Marines together with the mines.
Yeah, like mutas, they're great as a harassing unit. They're great to chase down medevacs as well. But when it comes to defending a push like that, mutas aren't really what you want in that situation. In a head-to-head fight, their DPS is very negligible. It's ideal to face them when you have Master Marine like that. It's a Lingbane Queen. That is what you need here to defend. And Lambo was just, woefully unprepared for that push.
Yeah, he didn't quite have enough, but we'll see how it goes on the next map, because we have Altitude picked by Lambo.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. Altitude is the largest map in the map pool, and not a bad map for mutas either. Because it is so large, because it is so vast, mutas can do quite well here. Or in general, you have a little bit more breathing room. Those kinds of pushes, they work well on Gresswan because of the short rush distance by ground. Not so much on Altitude.
Okay. So do you think Lambo will actually go for mutas again? Is that his go-to right now?
I don't think he should. I think this is a good map for it, and I would like him to go mutas if he didn't show mutas in game 1.
Fair point. But now we're looking at our blue Terran. It is Clem.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Altitude, we have representing Shopify Rebellion, Lambo. But yeah, Spire in muta play is always a really risky thing to pull off because you are left quite vulnerable early on. If you're able to get a decent muta cloud, then of course you have map control and you keep the Terran player at home and you deny drops and you do economic damage and all this good stuff. But it's getting there, which is the hard part, because you're investing so much of your resources. We even had +1 air attack on the way as well. So many resources are invested in these mutas that, again, aren't really useful to you defensively that early on.
Yeah, and we could see that, like, because Lambo was investing so much, like, he didn't really have units for the right now, right? So when the Marines arrived, like, he didn't have enough to defend.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see how this all turns out here as Clem even hands off the keyboard, just stretching, posture check, making sure that he is ready here for the next game. And famously out.
Don't forget to stretch. Like that's important. Like especially when you're sitting these long hours playing all the games. I mean, stretching every now and then is good, and that includes your legs. Just saying.
There you go. It is very important to stretch. We do see Clem just getting ready for Altitude again. Because this map is so large, it is considered to be a little bit more Zerg favored, just because they have a little bit more freedom and breathing room as well. When it comes to the later stages of the game, the map can also work against Zerg, because drop play can do so well at pulling the Zerg player apart left and right because the bases are so far apart. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. There are things to take advantage of for both players.
Yeah, we'll see which one of them will take that advantage. For the time being, Clem just moving out with his Reaper, getting a bit of a scout, and we'll see where they go from there.
Yeah, we shall see, as the first Reaper makes it across the map. Is going to be dancing with all of these Lings. Only 4 Lings this time, not 6. The Clem is looking for at least a Ling kill. It looks like he will get 1. Oh, he gets 2.
Yeah, 2 Linkies. The Queen's only just popped up, so now they will be able to stop it. Ooh, even getting some damage on that drone, but not quite able to kill it.
Yeah, again, the Reaper control of Clem is something to be feared. Meanwhile, back at home, the Observer's just pointing out that it is going to be another 3cc opener, just like the previous game. Again, nothing too aggressive, pretty economic oriented.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty much what we expected from Clem in this series, and that's so far where it's going, but I do wonder what will be coming after this.
Oh, exactly, as he does dive in pretty deep into that main base. Does take a lot of hits, but thankfully the Reaper does survive, does get the hell out of there. Oh, and Clem is once again going for a 3cc before Starport. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes Banshees again, but I do think the Banshees will have a bit of a harder time finding damage on Altitude.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. We'll see, because last time Lambo was also prepared for the Banshees, but after second, third time, his defenses were kind of down, and then the Banshees were able to slip in and get a little bit of damage. But I don't think they were super effective.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point because in game number 1 it did kind of slip my mind that Clem started that game off by killing 12 workers. If you remember with his Hellion dive, and likewise he's diving in with his first 2 Hellions, he gets a full scout off. Shouldn't get too many drone kills, but he is going to be able to at least get 1 in the end. Does get cleaned up, and the Hellions actually don't stop. Oh my god.
Yeah, they almost just got straight into the mirror line, but the queen popped up right at the right time, and they were a bit spooked, so they had to move back. And once again, Clem will be going for those Banshees.
Banshees are on the way. Cloak is being invested as well. Unfortunately for Clem, this time he won't have a surge of Hellions that can dive in and do a lot of damage because he did throw away his first 2. And we have another 2 here that are very weakened as well. So he has a little bit less to threaten the bases of Lambo, which means I do think that Lambo is going to have an easier time holding on to his drones this time.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, we will see. It all depends if the defenses of Lambo are there in time, but so far we've seen that he has a lot of queens and they are going around these bases, so he should be able to stop the Hellions in time.
He should be able to be in position. We do see these Hellions are reinforced. Now 6 Hellions on the front lines. The Banshees are rocking up as well, looking for a way in. But Lambo, I believe, 3 spores are already on the way. He will have detection. He will be ready for said Banshees.
And the queen is just chilling there, waiting for the Hellions to show up. And we will once again be going with a Baneling nest. The question is, will there be a Spire again, or are we actually going Ling Bane?
Yeah, I imagine we're going to be going Ling, but we'll see. We'll see what the choice is here. Once again, Lambo goes for the same. He goes for the same overall opener. He goes for his lair. He goes for that Baneling nest, and he is taking some of his additional gases. He's taken 4 gases in total. Lings do make sure that the Hellions don't die forward.
Yeah, the Hellions are being kept at bay by all these queens, and now we have Overseers, so the Banshees are also under fire, and for the time being, Clem is being held back.
Yeah, he is being forced back, and as you were saying, this time there is no 5th and 6th gas from Lambo, so he throws down those Evo chambers. It is going to be Ling Bane instead.
Okay, I see. Meanwhile, we have the Banshees sneaking straight into the main base of Lambo. The queens don't quite have detection in range, so one of them may be falling down. Ooh, barely safe.
Yeah, the queen does barely get within range of that spore. The Banshees still haven't found too much damage. Likewise, the Hellions have just been focused on clearing up a lot of this creep, and Lambo is going to be able to reach that sweet spot. We have 11 more drones on the way. He's getting up to the 80 worker count. He's getting his 4 bases up and running, and he's also getting his Ling Bane Hydra tech.
Indeed, going for Hydras there. At the same time, Clem, getting his army ready, getting the upgrades, getting more marines, more tanks. I feel like we will be seeing this more standard marine tank, I guess. And
yeah, I mean,
I don't even think he's getting Widow Mines.
Yeah, I mean, this 7-minute push is very similar to what we saw last game, except as you were saying, without any Widow Mines, tanks instead. Clem is going to be pushing on it, clearing up a lot of this creep. Meanwhile, Lambo had his 1-1 a little bit staggered, a little bit delayed, but it's still on the way nonetheless. And Lambo, he's already got that worker count that he wants. Now we can focus on pure Ling Bane production.
Yeah, and he will have to do so because Clem is now on the offensive. The marine tank army is coming in. The Hellions are lurking about as well. And for now, there are only queens. The Lings are on the way, but they're not here yet.
Yeah, exactly. Baneling speed is still a couple of seconds away from finishing up, but it should finish up in time. At the same time, we do have another Southern Force here dancing with those Hellions, but no, we don't find any of those connections.
Yeah, and now the tanks are set up, so the queens are actually taking a lot of damage. Ooh, the Hellbats are being dealt with the Banelings, but the army on the west is still there.
Yeah, and Lambo is in a lot of trouble. The Marines are pushing on forward. We do have a lot of Ling Bane available, but some of it has to be split off to help deal with those Hellbats.
Yeah, and now there's not that much left. Oh, but actually, wow, what a shot on the Banelings.
Yeah, the tank goes down, but it did get a massive shot off on those Banelings. It looks like Lambo should have enough, though, with only 1 tank. Clem shouldn't have the staying power to keep on pushing. He's going to have to get the hell out of here.
I mean, yeah, it looks like it as he gets sandwiched between this Ling Bane. But this is just wave 1, as there are drilling claws being worked on, and there's already a drop incoming.
Yeah, we have a Doom drop being sent out across the map. I love this, by the way. It's a great way to kind of nullify the rush distance because it's so long by ground. Why not just pick everything up into medevacs and boost across the map instead? And we're going straight into the main.
Yeah, Clem didn't even worry about the fact that he was flying over the creep, so Lambo could see him coming, but he is not prepared in his main base. The tank is set up and the buildings are going down.
Yeah, the Ling Bane is across the map. It's not here to defend back at home. The Banelings are actually stopping Lambo from getting into his own main base. +2 carapace is denied as the Evo Chamber goes down.
Yeah, the Hydras were all stuck behind the morphing buildings, and now Clem just picks up and leaves.
Yeah, he will lose a tank, but he can just drop down here towards the southern base. Meanwhile, that Ling Bane counterattack was cleaned up, only killed 2 SCVs. Clem's economy is left perfectly fine, and he even gets another hatchery.
Yeah, and he will be just bouncing back between these 2 bases. The Hydras are not fast enough to catch up with Clem, and there are not many Banelings left, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Lambo, he is struggling to keep everything going as Clem is reinforcing across the map. He is snowballing very quickly, and even though Clem has had a great economy, he's just been having so little time to rebuild his Banelings, to rebuild his army, and actually get any kind of momentum going his way.
Yeah, it feels like every time Clem is moving back, there's also another wave already coming. Like, there is no break between his attacks, so Lambo doesn't quite have the time to reinforce, but now the Ling Bane is rolling straight in.
Ooh, but the Banelings, the Widowmine connections were just a little bit too good. The majority of the Ling Bane goes down. You can see Lambo shaking his head there after that fight, and Clem is going to keep on pushing. Lambo, he's barely holding on.
Yeah, just barely, but Clem is snowballing, as you said. This army is still not being defeated. There are still so many Marines left, and there will be more reinforcements coming.
Yeah, and the other big thing, of course, is that Lambo, his upgrades are quite delayed because of that drop into the main base, because the Evo Chambers were sniped earlier. 2-2 still on the way. Clem is getting towards 3-3 as we speak, as we have a double drop here in the main base, and Lambo just doesn't have the supply to defend.
Yeah, he's being pulled apart as Clem is in his main base. He's attacking on the west as well, and Lambo has to try his best to split the army. A bit of friendly fire from the mine, I feel like, but he does get that Hydra then.
Yeah, great target fire. The Hydrogen goes down. Meanwhile, we do have Banelings not quite connecting. The Marines are ready for this erased target fire, and Lambo has to respect it. He has to back off. He has a couple of Banelings remaining here. He has more on the way, but can he hold on to his hatchery?
Nice snipes on the Banelings, and now it's just Hydras versus the Marines, and they're falling down. Clem takes it.
GG, well played, Clem. When he starts rolling, he doesn't stop. He will take game number 2 and the series 2-0.
Clem looked shaken after that series. He looked stressed about the fact that he won.
He was worried for Lambo. He was like, no, don't get upset, Papi. Oh, God. GG, well played. Clem takes it 2-0. Again, a great macro, great just control overall. We saw how efficiently Clem was trading, not just with his tanks, not just with his target fire, but the Widow Mines as well. We saw some amazing Widow Mine shots. And, yeah, Lambo just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, he just didn't seem to have enough. And I feel like the most impressive part really was that every time Clem attacked, like, usually you have like an attack, then like, you know, the engagement ends, then there's like a little bit of a break before like each player gets their reinforcements. But there was no break for Clem. Like, every time he was attacking, there was already another force prepared that was going to the other side of the map. Like, there was always something going on.
Yeah, I think the snowball started rolling when he went for that triple doom drop into the main base. I think that was the moment that you're talking about where, like, the push ended on left-hand side, and then bam, immediately Clem, he just boosts across the map.
Yeah.
And that is so unexpected on altitude. Again, like, because it's so... a couple of people, of course, did predict the 2-0s either way, but we'll see how this goes, as I do think that this is going to be a close one.
I mean, that's the thing, like, we have so many people predicting for a tie because this matchup seems fairly... I don't say even fairly even, but it's like, literally any score in this matchup would make sense, right?
Yeah. I agree. I think it comes down to how the players feel on the day, here and now, and we'll see. As you know, Harstem and Elazer are both really solid players in their own right, really solid players in the European region. It does feel like Elazer, he's, you know, just behind Raynor, he's just behind Serral. You know, they're kind of the top Zerg players in Europe, but as third place, I feel like Elazer, he's there.
He's always there, he's always around, and I mean, yeah, as you said, he's a pretty strong Zerg player, but look, it's always the year of Harstem, right? And you never know when he's gonna show up and just duo someone out of the blue.
He is the captain. It's all about the hashtag year of Harstem. Oh, but we'll see if he can pull it off here, as it looks like the WTL organizers, they believe that Elazer has the edge. They've given him a bit of a higher rating and a bit of a higher ranking as well, but I still believe that on a good day, this will go the distance. But Game 1 is going to be taking place on Neo Humanity. Pretty interesting map for Game 1.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we'll see how that goes. I don't think Elazer is the cheesy type to pull off some silky builds there, but I mean, you never know.
Yeah, so we see quite often roach all-ins here on Neo Humanity. We were even talking about it when Raynor played on Neo Humanity earlier in the day. This is kind of his bread and butter, but I'll be honest, I don't watch or I don't get to cast Elazer as often as some of the other European Zerg players, so I don't really know if he's willing to go all in and be hyper aggressive on Neo Humanity against a Protoss player. I'm curious to see how he approaches this overall.
Yeah, we will see. Look at the emotes. Oh my god. Well, anyway, we have Elazer, and on the other side of the map, we have Harstem, as both of them very friendly, sending some emotes in the chat.
Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Two good friends here. Elazer versus Harstem. Oh, let's go. We've got cams showing as well. So far, every player on these two teams have cams. You love to see it.
Yeah, that's always great to see. Also, this is once again me suffering, as I don't know if I should say Elazer or Elazer. I still don't know which one is correct.
True. Oh god, I'll go with Elazer for now. I mean, you've met Elazer IRL before, right? Have you ever asked him? Have you ever asked him how to pronounce his name?
I should. It never comes to mind.
Next time. As we do have some pretty standard openers here. We have Hatch Gas Pool coming out from Elazer. We have a Gate Expand set up from Harstem as well, but it's not the openers that we're going to be looking at. It's going to be the follow-up instead, because very frequently on this map we have been seeing the forward base taken by the Zerg player. We've been seeing a lot of Roach Ling Queen all-ins. We've seen some Nidus all-ins. Like there's a lot of aggressive potential on this map.
We'll see if Elazer is the one to go for those aggressive playstyles. For the time being, doesn't look like it. He does have that pool coming up, but it's not super aggressive or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Just standard openers all around for the time being. The other kind of features of this map as well, outside of the short rush distance and potential all-in potential as well on Neo Humanity, it can be a defensive map as well. If Harstem is able to get his third and fourth base up and running, it can be very difficult to break a four-basing Protoss player, especially because the fifth base from there is quite natural to take as well, and we could see a more late game scenario instead. We have seen that quite a bit already over the past couple of months, so we could be in a long one if it does go in that direction.
Yeah, we definitely could be. But for the time being, we have Harstem coming up with that Stargate, so I guess that we will be seeing a few oracles, I assume, coming to the Zerg base. But it will be still a while before that comes into place. In the meantime, shout out to Zergtroll, who just resubscribed for 14 months.
Yo, shout out to Zergtroll resubscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the love. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the cast. Hope you enjoy the stream. It's been a long time, Zergtroll. It's been a long time. Thank you. Thank you. Were you going to say anything, Papa?
I was just gonna sit here in awkward silence and see who breaks first.
Shaking my head as we do have that Oracle first coming out from Harstem again, as we should expect. Pretty standard follow-up here from this Oracle. We should be seeing a third base, and Harstem's probe is already headed in that direction to expand, take that third.
Yes, Caster Chicken, that's what it's called. But yeah, the first Oracle is already on the way to the other side of the map, and we'll see if Elazer is prepared for it. He's making spores, but he doesn't have a lot yet, I think. But also there's no drones at the third base. Harstem just scouts it, and he's good with the information.
Yeah, Elazer should be fine. I believe he has 2 queens in his natural and 2 queens in his main, which is more than enough to defend. Nice moves here from Harstem, though. He is giving Elazer a really hard time scouting, as both overlords have been shoot away, and both overlords that are across the map have sustained a lot of damage already. So Elazer is going to be in the dark until he gets his lair up and running, until he gets an overseer. Before that happens, he's got a couple of lings out, and he's going to try and get some information.
Yeah, and this is why Harstem is denying him this information,
Oh
because he's going straight for a fleet bacon.
So Harstem, I mean, he is the captain for a reason. You know, he drives the ship. What kind of ship do Protoss have? Sky, toss, Papi. The second Stargate is thrown down. This is the other strength of Neo-Humanity. This is why I vetoed Neo-Humanity as a Zerg player, because Protoss can turtle up on 4 bases. They can go double Stargate, Void Ray. They can go into carriers. They can rush into Sky Toss.
Yeah, as you said, Harstem is the captain, and what would he do without his ships, as they are indeed coming, and Elazer has not scouted that, as you said, and he doesn't have an option to really, as Harstem is making sure that he doesn't get into these bases and carriers are already in production.
He's an animal. Carriers are in production. The Oracles are doing a great job at keeping Elazer tied up back at home. We have a swell of lings on the way, and Elazer could be applying pressure to the 3rd base of Harstem, but I believe Harstem should be ready for this. We have a Roach Horn being thrown down at a reasonable time. Lair as well. We do have a lot of lings, though. We'll see if Elazer can make something happen with them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, sure, Elazer has the links, but Harstem has the oracles, and he hasn't been using a lot of them, so they still have energy, and if needed, they can use their beam to protect the base.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the 2 adepts do get across the map, and they're not going to be able to get into the mineral line. Nice control from Elazer, or map control, I should say, as he's able to keep up and shut them down. But the problem is that Elazer is in the dark. We saw his overlords were sorted away. The lair is done, but I don't believe we've seen an overseer scout yet. So Elazer, he still doesn't know about the Sky Toss.
Yeah, he's actually going for melee upgrades as well, which is interesting to me when he has the Roach Warren on the way. But I just wonder if this will be a bit of a case like you know, like in ZVZ when you go Roach versus Muta. But I mean, I feel like Sky Toss can deal with the Roaches, you know?
Yeah, it definitely can. Meanwhile, we do see Elazer poking in towards the 3rd base. He does see the lack of units. He also sees the lack of 4th. So he should be piecing together that money should be spent on tech instead. And we have a Spire on the way. So Elazer is correctly deducing the Sky Toss transition.
Yeah, he has guessed correctly. And I mean, the question is, will he be able to switch to these defenses in time? In the meantime, though, Harstem is getting his ground upgrades as well, and then the ground tech.
Yeah, I really do appreciate this, but before that happens, the Lings, they get us around Zealots, Stalkers, Adepts, everything falling. The shield batteries are not in range, and a really nice trade here from Elazer. The carriers are forced to reveal themselves.
Yeah, I'm just afraid for Elazer, though, because the Spire is about to finish, and he sees the carriers, so he may, you know, go for Corruptors or something. But once he does, I think Harstem will just go full ground toss.
Yeah, we can see that Harstem, he only made 2 carriers, and now he's transitioning not just into Archons and Charge Lots, but also into Disruptors. So he is actually focusing a lot more on his ground army. 11 Corruptors is okay, because again, there are still 2 carriers, but we don't want to overmake Corruptors. We don't want to neglect the ground army, as you were saying.
Yeah, Elazer has to be very careful about those proportions, and he's just making more Corruptors. He just thinks this is full Sky Toss.
Yeah, 17 Corruptors are on the way. He does have Roach Speed. He does have the melee upgrades, but he hasn't made 20 Corruptors now even. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just full Corruptor. Meanwhile, Harstem made, you know, these 2 carriers, and that's it. He's going Void Rays from there.
And Void Rays, they love Corruptors. They like them, Papi. They like them. Not just the Void Rays, but also we can incorporate a couple of Archons as well, as we do have the Templar Archive. So we'll see what composition Harstem goes for in the end. As, yeah, with these Archons and Void Rays, the Corruptors are going to have a hard time engaging.
Yeah, I don't know if Harstem didn't reveal his army a bit too quickly, but, I mean, what's done is done. Elazer is maxed out, and he has a lot of Corruptors in that army.
Yeah, he's got some Roaches on the way as well, but depending on the Purification Novas, the Roaches won't be able to do too much. Archon is going to be swatting away these Corruptors. The Corruptors are looking for some more damage, and they're going to be going for some Caustic Sprays on the Robos.
Yeah, and they will be taking down one of those Robos, and they will be chased away. They won't be able to take the base. At the same time, the main army is slowly coming up as the Queens are marching forward.
Let's go. The queens are waddling in. The roaches are coming in as well. Do we have enough to break Harstem, though? That's the question. As Novas are going to be going for the reconnecting.
Yeah, the queens walk straight into the Novas and they're not fast enough to escape, so a lot of them will be falling down, but now the Corruptors get to the carriers.
Yeah, but we have an overcharge, but the overcharge was used prematurely. It is not ready for this. The Roach Ravager pushing on forward here, and I don't think there's enough on the ground to stop the Roach Ravager.
Yeah, the Corruptors are dealing with the Air Force and there's not enough to stop the Roaches. The Novas are still recharging. There is one of them available, but it's not in range.
Oh, yeah, the Nova actually takes down the cannon. It doesn't connect with the Roaches either, so a little bit of miscontrol coming out from Harstem as Elazer is breaking on through.
Yeah, the probes are falling down. The base will most likely fall. I mean, Harstem has time to reinforce now, but he's lost so many high-tech units.
He lost his entire ground army. The ground army has crumbled here to the might of the Roaches and Lings. Again, a little bit of miscontrol earlier. The Novas weren't quite detonating from being launched from where they were supposed to be. But Harstem is going for a bit of a Zealot run by.
Yeah, definitely a nice backstab there to go for, but there are links to defend, so I don't think he will get a lot of damage. He did kill 7 drones in total, but now the Roaches are there, and can Harstem remake the army in time?
Yeah, that's a good question. Can he remake the army? Can he rebuild his shield batteries? That's the most important thing. Again, he didn't have an overcharge for that fight because he used it too soon, and he will be needing it here, especially if the Corruptors do dive in once again. As Harstem, his worker count is still pretty solid though. He didn't really lose too many workers, and that means that he will be able to rebuild eventually.
He lost quite a few, but it looks like he had a lot of them, but there's the second wave from the Zerg coming in right now. There's not a lot of army from the Protoss, but maybe Harstem can make it work.
Maybe he can. There's that overcharge trying to keep these carriers alive. The Roaches are going ham on this army as well. It looks like Harstem has enough to push Elazer back.
Yeah, he pushes him away for the time being. He has a bit more time to remake his army. He's working on those Void Rays, he's working on Disruptors. At the same time, the Zealots are doing more harass on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and this is going to be distracting Elazer at least a little bit, but the Roaches know they do not turn around. Harstem is trying to get more cannons, more shield batteries up and running. He's working on that disruptor count, but he's still only making 1 disruptor at a time.
Yeah, I don't know if that will be enough, but at least he's succeeding at distracting Elazer, and these Roaches are constantly going for the Zealots, constantly making sure that the bases are well defended. At the same time, Harstem is getting his army ready.
Yeah, we do see Elazer has maxed out here on Roach Ling Corruptor. Even though Harstem is down almost 50 supply, he does have disruptors, and the disruptors, they can make a big difference here if they get juicy connections.
Yeah, for the time being, they are just zoning out the army of Elazer, but they may be getting some connections soon, as Elazer is about to attack once again.
Exactly. We do have 2 more Novas in the chamber here, and Harstem has to make them count, whether it's zoning, whether it connects with the army, either or, they're both necessary. Ooh.
Yeah, there was a nice shot there under the Corruptors, it looks like, but is that enough? There's still a lot of Zerg left over.
There is a lot of Zerg, but again, that Nova was quite juicy. This second Nova, not so much, but a 4th Disruptor joins the fray, and now we have another Nova available. But once again, we do use it a little bit prematurely.
Yeah, not quite getting the shots that Harstem would be hoping for, and I guess now this is the dance of like whoever makes the first mistake.
Yeah, but as time goes on, Harstem's army is getting better and better. You know, for a while, Elazer, he was up 50 supply. Now that gap is getting smaller and smaller. Harstem's army is now comparable to that of Elazer.
Yeah, I guess those Zealot runbys did buy enough time for Harstem, and now it's the time for him to move forward towards the Zerg.
Yeah, exactly. And Elazer, a lot of his supply is inflated because of the Roaches. Another massive Nova does connect, but now we have a couple of Banelings on the way, and that can change the dynamic of this fight.
Ooh, another Nova is sniped by the Roaches, and yeah, the Zealots will be actually going around, so once again there will be more run-bys.
Yeah, we do have a couple more run-bys being set up. +3 air attack is on the way. Hive is very delayed here from Elazer. I don't think he really thought that he would need it here. As we do see a Harstem pushing on forward. Novas are going to be going off. Banelings will connect with the Disruptors.
Yeah, Harstem is surrounded by the Zerg, but I'm not sure if there is enough Zerg units to stop him from actually, so that will be all cleaned up.
Yeah, the Novas were insane on those roaches, and the Archons were able to get on top of the Corruptors as well. Elazer's army melts in the face of Harstem.
Yeah, and now this is where things are getting dangerous. Elazer is still making Corruptors, because he lost like all of them. But does he have enough to stop Harstem once he comes to his side of the map?
Yeah, the other big thing is that Harstem has to rebuild the Disruptors, because he did lose a lot of them in that fight as well. Thankfully for Harstem, Elazer was neglecting his tech. You know, we still don't have a Hive, which means we don't have any Vipers, which means we are lacking a lot of our Spellcasters. And without Spellcasters, Zerg can't really fight against Skytoss. Like, they will just perpetually trade inefficiently. So Elazer has to be very careful about that. Zealot Rama is going to be buying Harstem more time as he pushes out through the center of the map.
Yeah, and he's making carriers once again. He decided that once he cleaned up the Corruptors, it should be a bit more safe for him to do so. He's working on Storm as well, so that will be also in his arsenal when he decides to.
Yeah, the scary thing is that Harstem is perfecting his army and he's getting into the ideal Skytoss army composition. Elazer is still not quite there. He has a Greater Spire on the way, still no Vipers, no additional upgrades either. He only has +1 air attack. He has neglected his Corruptor upgrades.
Yeah, the upgrades are still being on the way, but does Elazer have the time? Because Harstem is still being very careful. He rather takes the bases, but Corruptors are not falling down.
They get caught in the slow zone as well. A lot of Corruptors go down. Novas are going to be flanking these Queens as well, and half the Queens do crumble here to these Disruptors. It looks like the Disruptors are getting caught out though.
Yeah, so I guess that was a bit of a trade-off, but now Harstem decides he has enough. He moves forward on the roaches.
Yeah, and a lot of roaches are falling here. Again, there are just so many Void Rays, so many Corruptors, and so many carriers and not enough Corruptors. We have 16 Corruptors on the way, but without them, I don't think Elazer can take this fight.
Yeah, and there is that storm. The Corruptors are bunching up, so now they are all damaged, and the Void Rays can just finish them off.
Yeah, and without a ground army, these Archons are doing such a great job at protecting these carriers. The Corruptors, they can't get close to the army.
Yeah, they cannot get close. The carriers are perfectly safe. The front lines of Harstem are dealing with the rest of the Zerg army. Now the Corruptor reinforcements are here, and they will be start diving on those carriers.
But the Archons do get in position. The Corruptors go down. GG gets called, and Harstem takes game 1. What do we...
Okay.
I'm
glad we turned on the light for that. This was important.
I was very confused as to what was happening. I was like, what are we showing off right now? Why are we getting out of the... Oh, okay. Powerful, Papi, powerful. Harstem just showing off his Skytoss skills. Honestly, though, he was quite in a bit of trouble early on. You know, we saw him struggling to hold on to his 4th base, and initially the fight was going fairly well for Lambo, but over time, the Purification Novas, they were going well for Harstem, but over time, we saw the Purification Novas get some really good connections. We saw the Corruptors at times overextend as well, and Harstem was able to defend long enough to actually get into his ideal army. And even though Elazer had a 2k bank, he had a massive bank, but there was no Hive, there was no second Spire, there were no other upgrades. Like, he was tunnel visioning a little bit too much there. Yeah,
that's definitely like, I don't want to forget, but like he delayed his tech for a long time, and like he just didn't get any spellcasters period. Meanwhile, Harstem did a great job at denying any sort of scouting to Elazer. So by the time the Skytoss transition came, like when Elazer realized what is happening, like the carriers were already being made. They were already out.
Yeah, they were already out, and Harstem was able to get away with his cheeky fast fleet beacon. But now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Elazer, his map of choice is going to be Ancient Cistern.
Yep. So we will be going on Ancient Cistern for game number 2. And we'll see. Do you think Elazer is gonna go for something quick to finish Harstem off before he can get to Skytoss?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Elazer, he goes for a larger map, a much more macro-oriented map. Unlike Near Humanity, the 4th base and the would-be 5th base as well is a lot more exposed and vulnerable to counterattacks and vulnerable to run-bys. So I do think that in a longer game, Elazer would have an easier time at harassing Harstem and slowing him down and maybe even getting into that late game in a better position.
Look, like, I've been exposed to too much Neomyca, okay? I know that Ancient Cistern means you 12 pull, okay? That's the rules.
True.
But anyway, we have our Bluezer player here. It is Elazer from Team Liquid.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have for Shopify Rebellion, Harstem.
And he is making drones.
Drones are indeed being made. Oh, they are on the way. Oh boy. And yeah, hopefully Elazer can look to bring things back here in game number 2. Game 1 was it was rough. Again, like, especially because of the map itself. Once a fight doesn't go your way, the Protoss counterattack is so quick, it's so fast, it's already on your bases, you have very little time to react. If you take a bad fight, Neo-Humanity can be very punishing.
Yeah, by the way, this was like the perfect acknowledgement of what's happening, where the drone was moving to the third base before the probe even reached this side of the map. They just passed each other like, yeah, good morning. Just, the usual.
Yeah, Elazer, he has accepted his fate. His natural is not his. It is the property of the Protoss, and he'll have to expand elsewhere instead. But regardless, still some standard openers, hatch, gas, pool all around. Very similar to the last game. Very similar.
Yeah, Harstem feels comfortable enough to expand as well, so we see what they go for this time. Do you think Harstem goes for the Skytos again?
I don't think it's anywhere near as good on Ancient Cistern. I think the 2 carrier push has a lot of potential on Neo-Humanity just because it's really short. I don't really see that working anywhere near as well here on Ancient Cistern. But we'll see. He's the captain.
He is the captain. And apparently he's very strong.
Yes, powerful.
Powerful, yes. I'm still a little scared.
Oh god, you love to see the ceremonies whenever we get it. My favorite is still yesterday when we saw the cure ceremony.
Oh yeah.
When Cure lost. Yeah.
But the best part
Shout out
about
to
that
Cyan.
ceremony was it was Cyan. The way he looked into the camera, it was just piercing your soul. I was like, okay.
Well, I think my favorite thing about the Cyan ceremony is that he had it ready, which means that he came in expecting to win.
Exactly, he came in expecting to beat Cure.
Yeah.
That's now that is the show of power when you believe in yourself that much.
Yeah, it's beautiful, mate. It's absolutely beautiful. So shout out to Cyan. He gets some extra points from me for that ceremony. You love to see it. As Harstem is mixing things up, and I don't know if you saw, no Stargate. Something very different instead.
Yeah, no target coming. Instead, we have the Robo coming up. Once again, he is denying that scout from Elazer. The Overlord was chased away, and I believe the Robo is in the main base, so I don't think Elazer will be knowing anything about this.
Yeah, it was a Twilight Council and a Robo. The Twilight Council is already done. We have 4 gates back at home for Harstem, and I didn't get to see the gases, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be 4 glaives. Oh, never mind. We're going all in. We have more than just 4 gates.
Oh yeah, we're having way more gates, and it will be glaives, as you said, so in that part you are correct. There is a Link scout coming. There are a few Links trying to get in, but once again, Harstem is doing a great job at denying scouting, and we'll see if he can catch Elazer off guard with all of these adepts coming in.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have 5 gates at the moment, and we're going to be working towards 6. So with this, we're going to have so many more adepts to work with. Elazer does throw down a Roach Warren at 4 minutes, which is the correct time to throw it down, so he will have Roaches out in time, but it's still going to come down to his execution, to his ability to deny any kind of economic damage and pull those workers apart.
Yeah, Harstem is revealing that he does have quite a few adepts already out, so it may be also, a bit suspicious to Elazer why there would be so many of them running around, but the question is, will he have Roaches in time, because the Roach Warren is still finishing up and the adepts are already moving.
Oh, but I love this. The Lings are being so active. They force a warp in back at home defensively instead, as it is 5 gates. And this is going to slow down the push of Harstem. It does mean that he has to wait a little bit longer to reinforce across the map. And the Roach Warren is now done. Elazer still not 100% certain as to what it is, as he throws down some Spore Crawlers, but he needs Roaches.
I mean, you never can be over-prepared for DTs, right? And now the queens are on the front lines as well. They should be able to keep the adepts at bay, but there are so many of them.
So many adepts have arrived. Roaches are still in production. They don't commit to the shade, as we do have plenty of lings here to keep up with those shades. Going to be keeping Harstem back for now, but again, Harstem is committed. He's going to be going for another warp, and there is no third base behind this.
Yeah, this is all or nothing. Harstem is coming in. He's dealing a lot of damage to this squeeze, but there are still a few transfuse available, but he may be able to snipe them.
Yeah, exactly. As the lings are keeping up with these adepts, they're going to be going for the surround. The roaches have arrived, and they're getting on top of the adepts.
Yeah, the adepts cancel the shade, so they are being surrounded by the lings, and they are starting to fall. There's still a lot left over, but a lot of them also went down.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that, I believe half of the adept count, 11 adepts, did go down already. But Harstem, he isn't done. He can't be done. He is all in. He's sending his prism into the main base. The queens are being forced back. Harstem is looking for another way, and the prism actually comes back. It looks like there were queens in the main.
Yeah, once again, the adepts are getting surrounded by the zerglings. He's trying his best to blink the adepts with the warp breeze, but still, a lot of them get damaged, and he doesn't quite have the power to break Elazer here.
Yeah, exactly. And now Elazer, he needs to start droning because Harstem, he's not committed anymore. He throws down a third base behind this. He has a bay on the way as well. Harstem has recognized that he cannot end the game.
Yeah, he has to transition from here. We'll see if he is able to do that, but I mean, Elazer is still keeping him at bay, so he has no other choice.
And I love this. As the roaches stay at home, Elazer sends all of his lings across the map. They're going to be looking to deny that third base, and there's nothing at home to defend. Harstem, there's no way for him to hold on to it.
Yeah, he would have to recall the adepts, but instead he goes for the offensive. He goes straight into the mineral line, but the roaches and queens are here to respond.
Yeah, but drones are falling, and we can't afford to lose workers right now. Elazer, he's losing far too many. He's down to 29 drones.
In the meantime, he did take that third though, so that is at least nice for him, but yeah, 9 drones is quite a lot of damage that they're done to Elazer, and Harstem is still warping in. He's still keeping pressure on Elazer. Even if he can break his base, he's still keeping him at home.
Yeah, you could argue that Harstem has already done good enough economic damage. Like, he's ahead almost 20 workers compared to Elazer. And Elazer has to be careful here. He already has a lair, thankfully, but he doesn't have roach speed. He hasn't started it yet, which means he can't necessarily counterattack with his roaches.
Yeah, and with the disruptors coming up, that will be also in the play, so that may help Harstem dealing with all of those roaches. For the time being, though, he has to be careful about this link ground bias, as once again his adepts will be getting surrounded.
Yeah, exactly. Lings do get a full surround on the adepts across the map. We do have the first disruptors on the way, but with glaives, the adepts actually don't trade too badly against these lings.
Oh yeah, glaives definitely help with that, but still, quite a few of them will be falling down, so that's a bit unfortunate, but now the disruptors are out.
Disruptors are out. Roach speed finally does begin, but this is late roach speed. We'll see if Elazer can force another cancel on this third base. It looks like he will, so he's still in a decent position overall, but now those two disruptors are going across the map.
Yeah, Elazer did expand to four bases, so at least he has that going for him, but at the same time, the attack from Harstem is now here.
Yeah, exactly. And how good are these Novas going to be? How good are the splits going to be? Because, again, those roaches are slow. They don't have the speed upgrade yet.
Yeah, and there's a lot of adepts to support them as well. Let's see those Novas. They're going in, only one Ravager on the first one.
Yeah, the Lings, they come in for a full surround as well. The second Nova goes off, a second Ravager goes down, but the splits were good enough, and now the Vials are going to connect with the Adepts.
Yeah, Harstem shaking his head. He lost too many units here, and he has to call GG. Elazer will tie it up.
GG, well played. Do we get a bicep reveal? No, we do not. As Elazer does take game number 2, we are tied up 1-1, and we're going to the ace match.
Yeah, as we said, this was like from the beginning. We thought this would be a very, very close series overall, and it is going all the way to the ace match. So I don't want to say as expected, but it's as close as we expected.
As expected by the CranKy Duckling community, you know.
Most people did predict.
Most people did predict the 1-1 between these two players, so you know that is kind of what we got in the end. But I don't think these are the games that we expected. Yeah. I don't think we expected Harstem to be as wild as he was. In game 1, he rushed into carriers. In game 2, he went for an adept all in. Yeah, I expected one of these games to be more standard play, but Harstem had other things in store.
He did. And I mean, it worked for him in game 1, so look, why not?
There we go. So with that, we're going into the ace match. Both teams will have to select their players to send out on Royal Blood. As a reminder, because we don't get too many ace matches, this is a best of 1, not a best of 2. Best of 1, one map, Royal Blood. It all comes down to one game. And now we have to wonder, what are the players that are going to be selected here? I feel like the obvious picks are the TVT, Clem versus ByuN. Those are the obvious picks. But now we have to wonder, do either teams kind of have a sniper for the other Terran?
Clem versus
Is there
Harstem.
anyone on...
Let's go.
Yeah, is there anyone on Shopify that feels confident against Clem? Likewise, is there anyone on Team Liquid that feels confident against ByuN?
It's actually gonna be SKillous versus Harstem. As both teams trying to snipe the other.
I don't think SKillous would be a good snipe versus ByuN, I'll be honest. I don't think.
Okay.
Oh boy. But yeah, so we'll see. The teams are currently deciding amongst themselves who they want to send out as the ace player. I wonder if anyone in the chat has any ideas either, any wild predictions as well. Because again, I feel like the obvious choices are Clem versus ByuN, but they could go for some other picks instead.
It could be Elazer versus ByuN as well, but I feel like Clem definitely looks stronger than him today.
Yeah, I feel like Elazer versus ByuN would be risky. Hold on, I need to have a look at the roster.
Yeah, I don't know what like their matchup is as well. Like which matchup is their strongest right now? Because it is a different matchup than the one they played today.
I wouldn't be opposed to Harstem versus Clem. I don't think I'd be opposed to that. I don't really know much about Harstem's PvT, but based off of how he played against Elazer, I'm sure Harstem has some dirty builds against Terran.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I said Harstem.
Yeah. And Clem, I feel like he... when it comes to his overall performances, usually it's Protoss players that slip him up. I feel like if an upset is ever occurring, it's typically Clem versus a Protoss. So maybe they do whip out the captain. It's possible.
I could definitely see that, especially like after he presented, like his games were quite nice in this matchup versus Elazer. Like sure, the second game didn't work out for him in the end, but like those are very strong builds.
Oh yeah, very strong builds indeed. I'm just looking at some of the recent losses of Clem, and I see Max Packs, I see Showtime, I see Koreans, but that's besides the point. So yeah, I wonder who they do decide to send out. Otherwise, I hope you're looking forward to a TVT career.
No, well, look, it's Clem versus ByuN. It's okay. There it is.
True. There we go. We have confirmation.
They're
the
exactly
ace
even.
players will be Clem versus ByuN.
They have the exact same score.
Yeah, there we go. So they have, I believe they're both 10 in micro, but it looks like ByuN has a little bit more in mentality and Clem has a little bit more in defense. I think that's where they differ.
Isn't it the other way? No. Blue is on the left. Blue is left. Yes, I think so.
There we go. Oh god, so it is going to be that TVT. It's going to be a rematch. So we casted Clem versus ByuN last week. It was an ESL Open Cup Americas, and it was an insane series that was had. Clem did defeat ByuN in a very interesting fashion. It was on this map. It was on Royal Blood. No, sorry. It was on Dragon Scales. Ace match. It went to the ace match. It was on Dragon Scales, and they proxy raxed each other.
Of course, because of course they did.
Yeah, and it was Reaper versus Reaper, and Clem clutched it out with the Reaper versus Reaper, and he defeated ByuN in ESL Americas. It was very impressive, It's very shocking as well.
I was about to question what was Clem doing in the finals of ESL Americas, or was it not the finals? But what was Clem doing in ESL Americas? But then I remember that Clem wakes up like in the evening. I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's so here on this channel we cast ESL Americas every week, and Clem is one of the few Europeans that does stay up for ESL Americas, but it's a new thing. It's
Okay.
maybe in the last 2 months Clem has become a regular, and it's like, oh, that's weird. Like initially I was like, it's kind of weird that he's staying up, and then the next week he's there again. It's like, oh, welcome
I
back.
mean, we know that that Clem is a total legend in that regard, and he doesn't do well in the morning hours apparently.
Apparently. So yeah, Clem has been a lot more active in the ESL Open Cup America weekly tournaments, and we've been seeing a lot of him recently against a lot of the Koreans as a result. We've been seeing him against ByuN, against Gumiho, against Solar. So yeah, it's been great to kind of see that. But again, this is still a best of one. You know, anything could happen. Anything will happen as well. And yeah, I'm wondering, is anyone willing to proxy Rax in the ace match?
I could definitely see that. Yeah, I could see that happen. Also, Papada is also saying, so Clem is a DJ like the rest of us. I mean, yes, unless you are me and you have to wake up in the morning for Asia/Australia StarCraft.
There you go. People asking, yes, this is the last game of the day. This is the second series of the day, which is, we only have 2 a day, and this is the ace match. This is the final game. It all ends here.
Yeah. So this is all or nothing, and I do wonder if they are crazy enough to go for proxy Rax on the ace match.
I can see ByuN doing it. I don't know if Clem would do it. That's the thing. I don't know if he has the killer instinct for that. I don't know if he is that, willing to risk it all, especially in this WTL match.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, ByuN is much more likely to do it than Clem is. Like, I feel like Clem is... I don't know how to put it. Like, he's not confident enough to do it, like, in an actual important game, I feel like.
Yeah. We'll see how he does pull this off as the players just getting ready. They're setting up their lobby. 1 game on Royal Blood. Oh boy, this can really go either way. Can it really go either way? Again, we saw Clem take down ByuN in the finals of ESL Americas a couple of weeks ago, 3-2. But likewise, after that, ByuN was able to get his revenge in the next tournament as well. So they do go back and forth quite a bit. So it's still quite unpredictable as to who's going to win this out in the end. Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
I think one thing...
No, I was gonna say that they seem like fairly well matched up players, and funnily enough, like also like playstyle wise, like they feel like quite similar in style. Like they both like those dynamic type of terrain.
Definitely. And I think the other really great thing about this is that I know that there was always the caveat or the thing behind our minds between Clem and Lambo, where like, oh, Clem, he's playing against several later, so maybe he's going to be hiding some special builds for that. But when it comes to this TVT, I mean, there's no Terrans left in ESL Masters EU. Like, Clem isn't holding anything back. Like, he can play everything. He can play to his heart's content and not be too concerned about revealing too much. As we are getting into our next game, into the ace match in the top right hand corner for Team Liquid, it is Clem.
And in the bottom left corner, we have our red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It's ByuN.
Oh boy, here we go. The cams are on, the Terrans have arrived, and the SCVs are staying at home.
I mean, you say staying at home, but where is ByuN's home? The background, it's gone.
It's gone. He is in the abyss. He is in the ether. We see one SCV moving out across the map, and this is something that's been rising a little bit in popularity. So ByuN has his first Rax back at home. He has his second Rax on the map.
I feel like ByuN is one who likes to do this type of stuff a lot. And I assume this is not gonna be anything too cheesy, more like... Oh, actually...
Let's go. Clem reading this so well. So a 2-Rax opener from Clem is designed to shut down a proxy Rax. Like, so he's being very safe, and he's willing, and this would have killed ByuN if ByuN were committed to like a proxy 2-Rax or something. Likewise, ByuN is going for like a half measure where he'll be able to reinforce and apply a lot of pressure with Reapers. But because Clem is matching ByuN in production with 2 Raxes, Clem should be okay.
Yeah, but also I like how this plays into what we were saying, that like ByuN is generally more likely to proxy in a situation like this, and Clem also apparently agrees because as you said, he decided to be careful about this.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have Reapers on the way from both players. And oh my god, ByuN is even is even proxying his depot as well. Very cheeky stuff here. Very risky as well, because if he does lose map control, he will be losing that depot. But yeah, a lot of this is going to come down to the positional play as well. Clem has to be careful not to be caught out with his Reaper. Likewise, so does Clem. So does ByuN.
Is he gonna see it? He's coming back. He didn't go far enough to see the proxy from ByuN.
Oh, and Clem, he reacted 1 second too late. The Reaper goes down immediately, and now ByuN has a window. He will be able to snowball with his amount of Reapers. Boys have to be pulled.
Yeah, and there's a ramp right there, so the wall is not doing anything. The boys will be trying to help with the Reapers, but one of them goes down. There's still one left.
Oh, and ByuN, he shakes his head there as he loses his next Reaper. And ByuN is committing, by the way. He is proxying his factory. He is going all in.
Yeah, just proxy all the buildings. Why not? And he will be on the offensive still, but Clem has held for the time being, and he just progresses with his build. He still has more Reapers, he's still making more as well, and he decides to just expand.
Let's go for the proxy 1-1-1, Papi.
Yes.
Vamonos. We have Hellions on the way from ByuN. Clem, he has held initially, like he really solid defensive role, able to stem the tide of those Reapers. But he doesn't know how aggressive ByuN is being. He doesn't know that ByuN is just doubling down and just proxying everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, Clem is still producing units, so he should have, just enough to match ByuN. But as you said, I don't know if he's aware how dedicated this is. And actually, he goes forward first.
Yeah, this is huge. Clem did have an overall unit advantage. He's able to almost reset the Reaper count, but he overextends a little bit here. And he loses another Reaper.
Yeah, he loses the Reapers, and now it's just one Hellion versus the units of ByuN, and actually, Clem is not doing great, but he's still gonna be able to clean this up.
Yeah, I mean, Clem still has the defender's advantage. He has the economic advantage as well because he has the base, so he can afford to trade a little bit more poorly. Things don't have to fully go his way. Meanwhile, with that proxy starport, we do have a medevac on the way.
To be fair, you say defender's advantage, but with ByuN's building being mostly on his side of the map, like, they both have a similar advantage, Like,
you're not wrong.
Like, ByuN is missing that one rack, since is back at his home, but other than that, they have pretty similar distance.
They do. As ByuN, it looks like he has recognized that he can't end the game. He throws down a CC back at home, but this makes things really awkward because even though ByuN knows that he can't kill Clem, his production is so exposed. Oh, the mine!
The mine. It hit one of the Hellions, but it's also being exposed.
Yeah, the mine does go down in the end. And we'll see how, and I believe the factory has been scattered as well, so Clem is now aware of the location of the proxy. He can now prepare himself back at home, but ByuN is getting ready for a drop.
Indeed he is. At the same time, Clem moved his units away from ByuN's location, so I guess he will be hiding them for the time being, and we'll see if he can sneak by and just get to ByuN's economy instead.
Yeah, we'll see if he can, as we do have ByuN now pushing towards that natural base as well, looking to try and get a lock on. We do have a defensive Raven available. We do have a disable if need be.
Yeah, and we have a Viking as well, which should be able to zone out this medevac, and ByuN is being stopped for the time being.
Yeah, he is being pushed back for the time being. We do have the auto turret just doing a great job at it as an anchor point here for Clem, and GG gets called. Clem defends. Clem takes the ace match.
I'm actually being really happy after this win. I mean, he also apparently almost got a heart attack, but he did take the game.
Aye, mate. When you're in the ace match against ByuN and ByuN proxies everything, it's a stressful game. It's a stressful situation to be in. But GG, well played. Clem just rolling the dice and rolling so well, going for a 2-racks opener. It meant that ByuN had no momentum in the beginning of the game, and we saw him mess up a couple of times, and ByuN, he was losing his Reapers, and we saw him shaking his head at the time. That meant that he couldn't snowball, and that meant that Clem had an easier time defending as time went on. We even saw him just being asserting himself and just pushing out across the map and diving on top of the army, just taking so many great fights over time. And yeah, it was a rough start for ByuN.
Yeah, but as we were talking about, like, Clem decided to be very careful about how he plays this game. Like he started with a build, as you said, like, to prevent this proxy rank advantage in the first place. And then afterwards as well, like he did move out a few times, but he was very careful about how he was moving his army to make sure he is not out of units by the time ByuN actually decides to attack. So this was actually very carefully and well prepared by Clem.
Yeah, in a way, ByuN just being a little bit too predictable, a little bit,
so, yeah.
you know, and yeah, because I think, you know, we both came to the conclusion, and Clem did as well, that ByuN would be more likely to be aggressive. And yeah, Clem was able to prepare for that, able to gamble a little bit himself in his opener, but gamble correctly. And GG, well played. Team Liquid, they do take the series 4-3.
Yeah, and where does that put them on the board? It looks like they're currently 4th place behind Onside, Basilisk, and DKZ. And yeah, very nice win for them.
There we go. Yeah, and now Shopify Rebellion are now in the lower half of the teams. They do get knocked down to that 7th place spot. So not really something that you would expect to see. Shopify Rebellion, they're struggling a little bit more. And we do see, again, because of the Starving Camels performances, they are actually doing quite well for themselves. The dark horse of World Team League, Starving Camels, in that 5th spot.
I mean, look, the camel is being well fed now, so maybe it's also playing better because of that.
There you go. They're quickly becoming my favorite team in WTL. They've been getting such good performances, good ceremonies as well, and insane upsets. So Starving Camels, not one to sleep on. Likewise, outside of that, nothing too crazy when it comes to the overall standings, other than, of course, Shopify is struggling a little bit more than I think we thought they would.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I am curious what is gonna happen with Psystorm, because we did hear that they want to change a few things in the team to you know, improve the results in the team league. So I'm very curious what that means.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on Psystorm Gaming. They have alluded to the fact that they are looking to sign some new players, and I'm very excited to see who they do sign, if it is going to be the return of Gumiho on Psystorm Gaming, or even Classic as well. I'm very excited to see what KJ has in store for us. Meanwhile, hope everyone enjoyed themselves here. I hope you guys had a great time watching an intense WTL match here to end things off. Went all the way to the ace match, and yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, and on that note, since I am here, I would also like to give a shout out to this week's winner of the prediction game.
Oh.
Because this week specifically, so only counting this week, our top predictor was Kashim with a 73%. Almost 74.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Really?
Considering all the results we've had.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. I'll be honest, for this week's prediction game, I bet a lot with my heart, not with my head. This week specifically, I went for a lot of feels picks instead, and that may be hurting my overall ranking, unfortunately. But if you're in the chat and if you want to take part in the prediction game, !Discord in the chat. You can join our Discord server, and that is where we aggregate all of the predictions. That is where we come up with our stats, and yeah, it's just a lot of good fun.
Also, a quick shout out to Tater Tutor, who just gifted a sub to the community, and it happened to be Symptoms.
Oh, shout out to Tater Tutor in the chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. I hope you enjoyed the cast. Shout out to not just Kuro, but also to Asher Bro as well. Asher was casting initially tonight with WTL and did tag out with Kuro as the night did go a little bit late. So thank you. Thank you, Kuro. Thank you, Asher. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us here. Also, quick shout out to Blakerdus for the beats as well, as we missed them a bit earlier on.
Thank you, Blakerdus. Thank you.
Also, I believe we've got some new patrons, so quick shout out to our new patrons as well, as they will be rolling out in the credits.
Yeah, if you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, you can join our Patreon, as our Patreon is designed to support the tournaments that we host and run, and also you do get some juicy replay packs as well. !Socials if you want to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all that good stuff. And oh boy, yeah, with that Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. That is the end of World Team League for this week. We'll be back next week with some more WTL action. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days straight of WTL. But we're not done with StarCraft today because ESL Masters is currently going on, and you should check it out. A lot of really good StarCraft is out there. Really good StarCraft in the Asia region, and I believe today is the last day of ESL Masters EU as well, right? Is today the finals?
I think it's both Asia and Europe was the last day. The Americas region has already concluded. I will not say who won, just to avoid the spoilers, but it has concluded, and today is these two regions that are battling out the finals of the playoffs.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of high quality StarCraft going on. For those wondering how this all works, once the regionals do finish for ESL Masters, I believe they're going to be having their offline finals at DreamHack Yongshiping, and that is going to be
Masters.
shortly in ESL Masters Yongshiping even. So yeah, that is going to be at that event. So I think is the event still not called DreamHack? Am I crazy?
I mean, the StarCraft event isn't, but I think it's at the DreamHack.
Yeah. So it's ESL Masters at Yongshiping DreamHack Yongshiping. So yeah, if you maybe want to go there live, it's going to be at that event. So maybe you can go there and participate and be in the stage or be in the crowd for those offline finals. And that is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just in a bit less than a month now. Yeah, in the middle of June. So where is Jönköping? It is in Sweden. It's next to a quite big lake from what I've seen on the map. So interesting neighborhood.
There you go. So plenty of StarCraft ahead of us, plenty to tune into, and thank you so much everyone for watching. Kura, do you have anything? Oh, sorry, Kura, where can people find more of you?
You can find more of me in the CranKy Ducklings Discord, as I mostly work on the CranKy Ducklings stuff behind the scenes. I'm not so much of a caster, at least not most of the time. But if you do want to follow my own stuff, then make sure to follow me at twitch.tv/16squad where I mostly play Final Fantasy. I will consider othering one day.
One day.
Meanwhile,
we'll get that.
right, where are the Diablo streams?
@_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream throughout the week, except on the days where we're casting here on the CranKy Ducklings, or when we have these marathon casts. We just finished up Sparkling Tuna Cup, and then we went straight into World Team League. So you can follow me there if you're interested in some Zerg ladder gameplay. Otherwise, I'm also going to be playing some Diablo 2 this week. I don't know when, but I do want to finish Diablo 2 before Diablo 4 comes out. That is my goal currently for my stream. Otherwise, if you only want some CranKy Duckling casting, then follow us here on the CranKy Ducklings. We are live every single day, sometimes multiple times a day as well. Our next broadcast is going to be in less than 24 hours. It is going to be ESL Open Cup Asia. I'm going to be casting that with Yaku of the Zaku. So if you want some more Korean StarCraft, then we have you covered in ESL Open Cup Asia tomorrow. The day after that will be ESL Open Cup Americas. The day after that will be KFC Kung Fu Cup. So plenty of StarCraft ahead of us, and make sure you're a part of it. Also, I almost forgot, tomorrow after ESL Asia, OSC King of the Hill. OSC King of the Hill will be tomorrow night as well. So another back-to-back double broadcast edition for you guys.
So basically, the StarCraft at CranKy Ducklings never ends.
It never ends.
It's literally 24/7. There's barely time to sleep and eat. So, I mean, make sure to buckle up. And if you do miss any of the broadcasts, you can find them all either here on Twitch or on YouTube, as they are slowly being uploaded there as well.
There you go. With that, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Stick around. We're going to give another lovely streamer a raid. Who is it going to be? I don't know. I think Eba is still laddering. Eba. So we may give some love to Eba. Or someone else. We'll see who we do come across. So thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.